Hey folks, this is JK from the Ministry of Otaku. Hope you're having a good 4th of July. For me, it's just a normal day. But really, 4th of July is really time for, well, for me, 4th of July is just another day for me. And around yesterday, I saw an interesting anime called How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Country. And it's basically The Prince, the anime. And The Prince is actually a 16th century political essay slash treatise by an Italian person, basically a rule book on how to rule book for princes to rule countries through political realism. That's how the anime got its name from, political realism. Now, I actually saw one of the worst reviews of the anime, and this is coming from Caitlin Moore from Anime News Network. Yeah, that Anime News Network. Here's the deal. Over the last several years, I've watched more Americore Isekai premieres than I can count. I've watched very few of them past the first episode, even fewer of them to completion. Most of them have been very popular, much like Chargin, but then largely forgotten almost immediately afterward. I mean, who even remembers the Master of Ragnarok, or Blessed of Energar, or Death Moth to the Parallel World Rhapsody? How Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom is just yet another power fantasy with super special main character who comes in and fixes everything with super skills. Super skills? Seriously, super skills? I mean, he doesn't have any. The main character does not have any super skills. He's basically a university student. He's actually an average university student who wants to be a civil servant in Japan, that wants a comfortable life as a civil servant, as a comfortable life as a civil servant. Seriously, this is the first isekai that features a main character that is completely normal, absolutely normal, just a normal guy with no skills that has to save the kingdom. Save the kingdom. And not only save the kingdom, but save himself from being forced to fight in the war against the Demon Lord. I have never seen any isekai that is basically grounded in a sense. Now, moving on to the second paragraph. This is one of a particular subgenre where the hero isn't granted superpower video game skills and high power levels, but instead uses modern knowledge. Modern knowledge. Here's the thing: if Caitlin knew that the main character is not super special, why did he admit this? Why did he admit this in the second paragraph? Anyway, to repeat, this is one of the particular subgenre where the hero isn't granted superpower, video game skills, and high power levels, but instead uses his modern knowledge to impress the ignorant medieval society and rocking himself to the top of the heap immediately. Ignorant? How is the medieval society ignorant? It's Mars society. We don't know the actual society is. We know the basic of society, but how are they ignorant? The anime doesn't say it, but this is the first episode. It doesn't tell you everything. It just gives you the introduction to the characters, their motivations, the setting, the plot. Caitlin thinks that everything has to be dumped in an exposition dump in the first episode. And an exposition dump is a bad way to create a first episode of any anime or of any show. Anyway, to repeat, this is one of a particular subgenre where the hero isn't granted superpower video game skills and high power levels, but instead uses his modern knowledge to impress the ignorant medieval society and rocking himself to the top of a heap immediately. This sort of series usually carries essential colonialism, and Realist Hero possibly reeks of it. Kazuya is summoned to the kingdom of Arifen, intended as a sacrifice to the demon empire, but manages to impress them so much with 101 level knowledge of economics that the king abdicates and hands him the throne and his daughter, no questions asked. How is this colonialism? This is in a fantasy setting. A fictional fantasy setting. How is a person from Japan, our real world, come to a altered world, colonialism? And Kazuya is intended as a sacrifice to the demon empire? If Caitlin paid attention, Kazuya was summoned because of the fact that the kingdom was out of money to give to the Grand Chaos Empire as a way to support the war effort. So since they ran out of money, they summoned a hero, which is Kazuya, and they plan to sell him off to the Empire. And that hero will be trained to fight as a regular soldier, or to be a general. God, did Caitlin actually watch the anime? And also, imagine impressed them with so much with 101 level knowledge of economics. Not just 101 knowledge of economics. I mean, he actually asked the Prime Minister and the King to explain to him everything. Give me everything you two know about this country. The trade, infrastructure, economics, transportation, fisheries, mining, everything. And they spent 3 days and 3 nights developing a plan to get the kingdom's finances in order. And the king realizes that the human, even though he has a university degree in economics and politics, is more fit to run a country than someone who has founded a country has no education. So it makes logical sense in an anime that the Isekai hero becomes the king. The idea that you can come barging into a delicate situation and culture that you know nothing about and just fix everything with your superior moral knowledge, or that it will be an improvement for the people under you, is exactly what fuels colonizing forces all over the world throughout history. Countless atrocities have been committed in the name of modernity. Countless cultures wiped out because they dare to have a different way of doing things than from the conquerors. The only difference is that how easily the king hands the keys to the kingdom over. Kazuya has no knowledge whatsoever of what drives their culture, their values, or their economic system. Here's the problem. Kazuya was basically isekai'd. He didn't choose this. He didn't choose to be a hero. He was summoned. He didn't invaded their country. He was forced to play a role. And he's not colonizing a country. God. Doesn't Caitlin realize that this is a fictional story? And Caitlin says Kazuya has no knowledge whatsoever what drives the cultural values, their economic system. Here's the thing, Kazuya actually asks the Prime Minister and the King, what were their economic systems? Tell me everything you know about this country. And they explain it all away in 3 days and 3 nights. They spent 3 days and 3 nights developing a plan, explaining to them, and the PM and the Prime Minister and the King actually explained to him everything about the kingdom, the economic systems, the how their economy runs, their political system. Did Caitlin actually watch the anime? It's getting to a point where I'm going to have to speculate that Caitlin did not watch the anime. And countless atrocities. Seriously, He didn't choose this. I mean, a colonizer chooses to invade a country. In this anime, he didn't choose to invade a country. He was summoned by force, by magic. Oh, Christ. What's wrong with people? It's hilariously superficial and only works because the culture of Landia seriously is a poorly constructed generic fantasy world. Well, here's the thing. Isekai consists of generic fantasy worlds based on Dungeons and Dragons and Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest and D&D are the foundations of all Japanese isekai since the 2010s. Anyway, people say it's wholly superficial and only works because culture Landia is a poorly constructed generic fantasy world, giving Kazuya a basic framework to work within, instead of a rich culture of his own. Kazuya himself brings little to the narrative as well, since he doesn't have much personality to speak of. He's a walking destroyed by facts and logic YouTube video, and we all know how unbalanced logical reporting happens in those. None. The answer is none. Seriously? You're trying to bring in current day politics in this. Now the anime is a colony, but it also has a political edge to it. When I mean political edge, I mean the politics is part of the story, but it's not modern day politics. It's more like political theory. How would you rule a country? In political theory, political philosophy. Not current day politics. The anime talk is about political philosophy of realism, political realism. And he does give good political commentary that is universal. That's universal and actually relevant. And one good example is that humans are governed by their own self-interest. And two, if a ruler ignores domestic issues, the country will be vulnerable to an uprising instigated by outside forces. Which is very similar to what really the United States and China are facing. Two superpowers that have domestic issues that are weakening the country. And both the federal government and national government of the United States and China are ignoring them. Here's the thing. Caitlin confuses current day politics with political philosophy. And Caitlin cannot separate fiction from reality. Anyway, in Caitlin's final paragraph, how Realist hero rebuilt the kingdom is the most obnoxious kind of power fantasy. Power fantasy? Seriously? This is nothing but a power. This is not a power fantasy. It's basically more like a grounded Isekai fantasy. Anyway, most obnoxious kind of power fantasy, one where it thinks it's deep and smart, but it's actually factile. It's a college freshman who thinks that they're an expert because they got a B in their 101 level course. And apparently Caitlin is not going to watch this episode beyond the first one. There are other worse reviews of this anime in Anime News Network preview guide, the summer 2021 summer preview of this anime. I mean seriously, it's honestly that Caitlin had no interest in this anime. Caitlin has no interest watching the anime, so Caitlin goes to this political rant that ties in current day politics into a fantasy anime, which is more to me like a grounded fantasy anime. grounded fantasy anime that has no superpowers, and has light political commentary about political philosophy, and how political philosophy can be applied to a fantasy anime. I actually watched the show, and it's actually a good show. It's actually a good show. It has a good introduction episode, and I'm actually looking forward to the second episode, which is coming this summer. I mean, this is coming next week on Saturday. And this is one of the worst reviews of how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. And I think there's going to be more. I think there's going to be worse reviews of this anime from ANN, because Anime News Network / AN has really gone to crap, just like gaming journalism. I mean, seriously, is it time for a YouTube equivalent to these YouTubers that call out stupid reviews? Maybe I should start doing that. I mean, seriously, it might be Realist Hero might be an Isekai, but at least it does something unique. It's grounded. It actually deals with grounded issues of political philosophy, of political themes, but it doesn't go into current day politics. It just deals with political themes, but it isn't. I think it's not going to be heavy on political themes. It's just going to have it's just going to have political references here and there, but the primary goal is entertainment. And really, I have no problems with politics and entertainment as long as it's as long as the product or the anime is good and entertaining. And if politics is just second fiddle to the real purpose of the anime, which is Isekai entertainment. Well, I'm not really into Isekai, but I'm definitely going to watch this one. But seriously, ignore Anime News Network. Go watch Realist Hero. I think it's going to be, it's not going to be anime of the year, 2021, but it's definitely going to be entertaining. Seriously, if you like this video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, share the video, do all that good stuff for the algorithm, and I'll see you next video. I hope you had a happy 4th of July in this dystopian and catastrophic world.